But okay, speaking of the studio though, I heard that you are like the DIY guy. Like if there's a way to do it yourself, you're gonna figure it out.
Well, when it comes to the studio, bro, I built that bitch like 100% myself. Everything, like all the sound insulation, I put up the walls. We did everything. Me and my boy Pistol Pete, he helped me literally like buckle down the construction, do the walls, do the all the interior shit.
So all that shit that we're seeing in the pictures and in the video and stuff, all of that stuff is you.
Yeah, bro.
Pistol
So we built that whole freaking place. It was one. We got like an office building and it had like 2 walls in it, but me and P built like 6 other walls to make rooms.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
For curtains, we're gonna put up walls.
Yeah, facts.
I love it.
Facts.
I love it. All right. All right, so look. This is how I usually do it. You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna be like 3, 2. Hey, what's up, Guan? Bonjour, famille. Bump Jonas here, and I'm about to have a sit down with
Code Red.
We here at Sack Studios, y'all. Let's get started. All right, man. First of all, it's been like 2 years since we talked.
Facts.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations for the studio, being married, just all of your life changes been dope for you, man. And I want to say thank you because you were like, I swear, one of the first 10 people to like give me an interview. So thank you, man. So like what's really been going on in like the last 2 years? What's happening? Tell us about some of the changes. What's popping?
Well, the biggest change, what I was just talking to you about is the studio. Doors opened on 2 of the rooms in there. The grand scheme of things is gonna be 3 studios.
Oh,
Studio 2 or 3 just opened. So
okay.
we're chugging along. But that's Studio A, our big boy studio. So last 6 months, man, just been buckled down on that place, working my ass off. So
Oh wow. So
yeah,
you're just now coming up for air.
pretty
To be
much.
like, yo, hey, we're open.
Pretty
Let's play.
much. So like our plan when we started this was like, my ass, bro, thought this was gonna take like a quarter of the time that it took. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
like
let's go ahead.
I feel like whenever you see any business people talk, entrepreneurs type, they're like prepare for over budget and over time, dude. And it's like that could not have been more true. Like just
Right.
because my expectations were like we're gonna build this so fast and with like low budget, and it's like flew right through all that shit, bro. Yeah, dude.
But you pushed through though.
Yeah, so like the plan was the light at the end of the tunnel when we first started was get through Studio A. We'll take a breather, before we finish Studio C, which is actually going to be like a voiceover podcast multimedia studio.
Wow. Okay.
But the other 2 studios, Studio B was our first studio done. It's like a hip hop production studio.
Okay.
We do vocal recording in there, production. We got keyboards, analog synths.
So that's like the industry standard type of.
Right. It's going to be like your industry standard, smaller, low key studio.
Okay.
And then our Studio A is a large format recording studio. We just got the Sound Workshop 34 board in there, 34 channels.
Holy
We're ready to rock and roll, man. Literally, I'm trying to do some rock and roll bands. Where you at?
Yeah, you said,
Yeah.
I love that bars. Let's go. So, okay, no, we're gonna get to there, but I want to ask. But this great segues. I love segues here. So, but we're gonna skip that one real quick. What's a studio boss eat for breakfast?
For breakfast, bro? It just depends, man. Sometimes ain't no breakfast. My ass sleeps in. So studios are late nights. So breakfast is maybe, maybe not. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, it's more like lunch.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I usually,
Afternoon snack.
if I eat breakfast, it's probably between 11 and noon, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro.
Damn. Okay. All right. So you're a brunch guy.
Yeah.
If at best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I probably wake up around between 8 and 9, get a little workout in, go on a walk, maybe clear my head.
Okay. Okay.
But
Right,
my day starts at like between 11 and noon because my day isn't over till about midnight. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So,
And now okay, you're also doing production and engineering and work creatively with artists and you have a whole fucking like catalog of artists while you're building up and expanding, right?
yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So talk to us a little bit. I mean, that makes sense why you're like, yeah, I'm fucking here. We're open because you've been busting your ass,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about that process of literally expanding.
Yeah, so I mean, the last few months have been a little crazy, you know what I mean? Because the transition, everybody knows I had the basement studio at home.
Okay.
And that's like where it all started, right? Code Red Productions. Code Red. That's where it all started, was at
That's
the
where I
crib.
originally interviewed you, right?
Right. Like,
Okay.
yeah, and that's where I've been rocking with artists for multiple years. So it was like all my gear, my whole setup went to the new studio. So all that stuff
Oh,
transitioned over there. So like the transition over there was like I probably took like a month off of
to,
just like working with artists
right.
to get everything over there and plugged in, working, all that stuff. Because I hate to be dealing with problems like while the artist is there.
Yeah, that's not
It
gonna
gotta
work.
be gotta
Yeah.
be smooth. So
Okay.
I took like a month long break, I'd say, before I buckled back down into recording and in producing. That was probably like at the beginning of the summer.
Wow. So basically, you're like, hey, we're going to expand. These artists are going to transfer from the home studio to this studio. So
Yeah,
you just like, hey, this is all got to get resituated, plugged in, and now boom, let's get back to this.
for sure. Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, that's actually some producer style of shit, right? Like that's chop, chop, put it together, move it along.
Right. And it's like
Oh,
I'm still the same Code Red with the same music and production and engineering. It's the same everything. It's just we just upgraded the where we doing it. You
and
know what I'm
there's been
saying?
no change in the output either because artists are still putting out music
Yeah.
and you're still attached.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I
that's
mean, that's because you got to think too, like we'll record a song, it doesn't come out for 6 months. You know what
okay.
I'm saying?
Okay,
So
fair, fair,
like
fair, fair. Okay.
anything that's probably been released and being posting and all this stuff recently has definitely been in the works for a minute.
Okay.
I mean, I wish it's a producer's dream for to produce something and record it and it's coming out in like 2 weeks.
Right.
That's like
Because you're
every
ready
pro-
to go. You
right. I'm ready to work on the next thing.
right.
I don't even want to like think about the old stuff anymore. You know
Get
what I'm
that shit
saying?
out there. Get it out there.
Oh man, that's the only thing I ever say to artists. So when you dropping, I get annoying, bro.
I love it. I love it. All right. So what really I guess the question in this case is what makes a good studio? Like what made that location have the intangibles that you were like, nope, this is it. We can do this.
So our studio's in KCK. I feel like people are like, damn, that's out in the boonies. It's really not. We're 8 minutes from downtown. We're like 6 minutes from Westport.
Oh, you're not
Yeah,
no.
we're off
Okay.
Southwest Boulevard and I-35. So we're like so close to everything. So the location was like sweet.
Like dare say perfect, right?
Yeah, and then so I live in Kansas, so it being in Kansas was a bonus for me.
Okay.
And as far as like what makes it a good studio, I was looking for a place that I could have complete creative control, but also make it a place for others as well. You know what
Mm,
I mean? I just needed like coming from my basement situation, the way I work, it's like completely independent. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
So I needed that, but I want to have a place that is like upgraded. Like I want to upgrade the professional standard of what we got going in our scene. You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right.
So
Come on, y'all. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah,
Because that's a benefit to us as a whole, right?
yeah,
When you can elevate your sound and your location to a professional format or a
yeah,
professional setting. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like the artists are gonna come in and be like, oh, hold on, they're gonna move a little different. I love that.
yeah,
I love that. Thank you for doing that.
yeah.
Ooh, what's your studio feng shui? And what I mean, I know I think I asked you this once before, a long, long time ago. But
Yeah.
what are what are some things that have to be in the session, and what are some things that cannot be in there?
So I had a session the other day and the person that came over was like, this is reminding me of like a like tropical cigar lounge. I just like it like tropical like colors like green and blue and purple and stuff. And then I like dark, you know what I mean?
Okay,
I got fake plants in the studio, so even though it's like dark in there, we got
a
LED
little bit
lights,
of
plants.
yeah.
I like feeling like I don't know, connected. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay, okay. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
An environment
Yeah,
like a
exactly, exactly.
because I felt connected. I was listening to him like, oh shit, that's cozy as hell
Yeah, like the
already.
colors like really help me feel the vibe. Like I'm really particular with like my decorations. I'm very particular about it being clean. Like that's probably OCD. Like
But you got to have that,
right, like
especially in a studio, right?
nobody's ever had a session with me and could complain that the studio wasn't like immaculate cuz I clean it like every day.
Now, are you letting food in the studio?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they can
Yeah.
come in and do their
Listen,
thing.
cleaning is part of the gig, so I'm not afraid to let people still come in and enjoy themselves.
Right.
They don't leave and it's clean. When they get there, it's clean. You know what I'm saying?
There it
So,
is.
yeah.
Smoke?
Not at the new place. Not at the new place.
Okay, so I mean that's fair. That's a fair trade, though.
Yeah.
That's a fair trade because I mean in reality you don't need smoke in the studio. You
Well,
really don't. It's
let's go
bad
burn.
for you.
Let's go burn one outside. We'll come right back in.
You see
It
what
ain't
I'm
no
saying?
biggie. Yeah.
Because come on.
Yeah.
All right, so and this one is actually for me,
Hmm.
but I'm asking for y'all. Right, we're doing some community service here. Can you break down a Studio A versus a Studio B?
At
Like,
my studio.
yeah, or I mean, like in some ways in general, but in
Yeah.
your studio, definitely help us understand.
Yeah. So I feel like a studio A or a studio B. Studio A is always probably going to be bigger, just
Okay,
like ours is.
okay.
You know, Studio A is A because it's your flagship studio. You know what I mean? So that's the one that when people say, you know, show me a picture, that's what you want them to see. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, and our Studio B is a more low key digital setup. So what I mean by that is like you're on the computer, straight to the speakers, you have a microphone.
Okay.
Studio A is gonna have all that gear. You know what I mean?
It's
We're ready
so
to go
that's the
with bands.
analog. You're on the big board.
Right. In our Studio A, we have amplifiers, we have bass amps, we have guitars, we have, you know
Shit.
what I mean?
So
So
y'all really recording the Beatles and shit in there.
I'm trying, bro.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, so for me, that means the difference is basically, like you said, Studio A is the big boy, where you have more capabilities to do
Hmm.
a lot more. The big board, you got hardware, the sounds, all that, right? So that's where you're in there tweaking and going crazy, I
Yeah.
bet, right? It's
Yeah.
the Kanye room,
Yeah.
right? Okay, and then Studio B is it has the same effect, but like you said, it's digital, but it's also plug and play.
Right, of
Okay,
course, man. And I produce so much music just on my laptop, so that studio is perfect for me as well.
just
I've been
pop
working in
right in.
Studio B all summer.
Okay,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? So yeah, yeah,
Okay. Look, y'all got to get him an A though.
yeah.
Let's get
That's right. That's right. That's right.
book him an A, y'all. All right. So one question I have, and this is just me being funny. Who picked the big area rug? Because that rug is pretty dope. I think that motherfucker's fly. But
My wife picked it out when
we
it
had a
showed.
feeling.
Listen, when it showed up, she kind of double guessed herself, but that thing is fire. I let
It
her know
is.
it is fire.
You're gonna have a lot of dope sessions
Yeah,
with that rug. Like
yeah.
I don't know if that came out bad or
Well, when you
not.
ask like what's part of the feng shui, you gotta have the rugs.
Oh,
So we
okay.
have rugs in every single room.
Oh no shit. Okay.
Yeah, and also you got to think too, like if you're an artist and you're standing there recording a song for an hour and a half, you want a little bit of something under your feet. You just don't want to be standing on the tile or wood floor. You know what I'm saying? So
Do artists take their shoes off in the studio?
some of them do for sure.
Okay. And you
Yeah,
allow that? You're like, go ahead, bro.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I never been an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Like, hey, put
Yeah.
the motherfuckers
Hey
back
man,
on,
somebody
bro.
put them shoes back on.
All right. All right. So one thing I gotta ask, and it doesn't seem like it's a problem at all, but you with the expansion of Code Red Productions, you've expanded the hats that you have to wear.
Hmm.
You're a studio owner.
Yes.
You're accountant as well, right?
Yes.
You're a construction worker as well, right? Putting shit together, DIYer. But you're also engineer
Yeah.
and and a producer.
Yeah.
So how is all that working for you?
So I'm really like discovering how I have to wear and address all these hats for the first time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So what this summer, what I literally had to do, even recently, I've been working on this like the last couple of weeks. It's like I've been getting together more of the business side of things, like the
Okay.
business plan. You know,
Ooh.
taking more of the hat of like the studio manager and the owner
Yeah.
instead of just the engineer. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
developing marketing, business plan.
Boy.
Yeah. So
So has
that
that
that has been it's to me it's been the most challenging part because
okay.
I've been just engineering for 10 years.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the new thing for me that I'm trying to like learn how to
Swim and navigate.
exactly, dude.
Now, does that has that taken away from your experience as far as engineering or producing?
Um I would say like maybe like artificially it has because like I'll be like, you know, like damn, I just want a break from work cuz that
Mhm.
makes it work, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But then when you get into a session and the creativity is flowing and the artist is, you know, vibing and we're loving what we're making, then none of that shit even matters.
You're
You know
like,
what I mean?
what
Like
was I
this is
busy?
what it's all about.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a I guess I would say like I told somebody the other day, it's like I'm having a I love what I do and I'm loving the studio, but it's like a little bit of love hate because it's like working on the business versus working in the business. You
Ooh,
know what I'm saying?
come on, y'all.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
yeah.
So like I'm got to learn how to do more of working on the business
Right.
because as an engineer I'm working in the
In
business.
that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you gotta you gotta like navigate and time manage, be like, how much of on the business can I get done so that I can have more time working in the business?
Exactly.
Ooh. All right, man. Good luck to you with that one.
Appreciate it.
That's yeah. But you know what though? One thing, and I always stop and give people their flowers, but you've always kept a very good name and reputation about yourself, like your product. No
Appreciate
one's
it.
ever had like, oh yeah, Code Red gave me a bad mix. Not never.
Yeah.
Never heard no shit like that. You
Because
know,
that never came out, bro. It got good before it came out. Now listen, we might have got up to version 8, you know what I mean?
to
Something like
get
that.
there.
Yeah.
Right, but that's again, that speaks to your consistency,
Right.
your diligence, and what I like is your pickiness. Like, you don't just jump the fuck out on something, you like, "No, let me see what that is. Let me
Yeah.
check that out."
Yeah.
You're always kind of watching and paying attention, so I love that, and I appreciate that, and it's needed not just in hip hop, but in the music.
Yeah, for
You know what I
sure.
mean? Like, we gotta have that we gotta have that person that's like, "Nah, bro, that's just Delitos. We don't need that."
Right.
So thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
Ooh, how how does a studio operate amongst different genres?
So it's all about, I would say, your engineer, their taste.
Okay,
Like I have a taste for multiple genres.
okay.
Like I grew up listening to a lot of rock music, a lot of heavy music, a lot of country, a lot of everything.
Ooh,
I'm not saying I'm like constantly listening to every genre like for fun now.
okay.
As a in my pastime now, I'm not
But
like
you have an ear for it though.
right. So like, and the guys that I went to engineering school with like really stressed the importance of being able to not only like mix a certain genre or something, but understanding it in terms of like what that genre is about.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
because that way for better or worse, you know the format of how things are supposed to be presented,
Right.
right? Because you can't go to a country artist and present well, I guess you could now, but you couldn't present no rock, opera, hip hop thing and be like, "Hey, let's put a country twang on it." Like, what the
Right.
fuck are you talking about?
Well, and like also my background is a lot like years and years of live sound.
Oh,
So I've done every big artist, every genre under the sun, like doing sound for that just live in a
so
live format. So,
does that play into Studio A then? And how
well, I definitely have an understanding immediately of all the gear and all
right,
the like techniques that I need to utilize to record a
to
full
make
band.
that
You know what
okay.
I'm saying? So
Oh,
I already have an understanding, like, and that's when I say it's in my taste. You know what I mean? Because I have a taste for heavy music or rock music, so I know exactly what it needs to sound like, what we need to do.
is he talking about screamo, y'all?
Hey,
When he
man,
says heavy, I don't know.
I know how to record screamo. So
So originally I was gonna ask why the expansion, but I don't really want to ask that. I really want to know how long have you been planning this expansion? Like, when did you realize, like, you know what, I need to step this up a little bit?
yeah, so really, I started the basement studio like during the pandemic.
Okay.
And that was just to be like, this is, I always planned on having a home studio. I always planned on like making hip hop and always doing, music, regardless of what else I had going on.
Okay. So
And
that was
then,
gonna happen.
right. So then once I started doing that, and then it became like a full time gig, and then it becomes like tangible to be like, oh, like I can take this somewhere. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So then that's where the idea of the expansion comes from.
Okay.
So we were probably planning on the studio for like, definitely, like, real planning, like, pen to paper planning for, like, a year,
Okay.
and then, like, an idea, it's probably been, like, 2 years, 2 and a
Wow.
half years.
That's pretty fast in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I felt like it had to be fast because we were growing beyond our means in the basement.
Ah, okay.
We have,
So it was
we
getting
live in
tight.
a crowded neighborhood, we live with neighbors that have 8 cars out front, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, I
So
mean, I didn't wanna keep pressing them for that kinda stuff. My wife was, being the most supportive trooper of all time, like let me have these sessions there till late night,
right.
like a lot of people coming through every single day.
And like you said, you don't finish till like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly, man. So like for our mental health, it
It
had to
had
get
to
out of there.
happen.
Yeah.
So okay, so then that's interesting that, why the expansion? Because I had to. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
But does that feed into the excitement that you have. Because as I talk to you, like you're generally a pretty chill guy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But like, not that you're like, oh, like it's not super passionate, but right now you have this energy of like, I'm I'm fucking in love with something right now. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So does the idea of not being at home or stepping away into something new, does that add to the excitement at all for you?
Definitely, like, I mean, it feels like I'm going to, like, something like, when I actually leave my house to go to work, even that, like, action is like, "Wow, I'm going to something that's like we did." You know what I
See?
mean?
Oh,
Because I felt like when I was in the basement, the music was the product. Now, like, the environment is also the product. You know what I'm
ooh,
saying? So
that's a fucking bar, yo. That's a bar. That's a bar. So I gotta ask this one from a business perspective. Do you have any concerns about like competition within the market? You know what I mean? Is that a thing for studios?
Well, I feel like I just gotta operate every day with like an abundance mindset that
Okay.
there's enough music out here in this city to support all of us. You know what I mean?
I love that.
And we
Yeah.
all have all the studios in town, any of them that I'm competing with, especially, are like our clientels. Or there's so many artists. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And we all do different stuff better, or than each other. You know what I mean?
Different. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
different. Different's a better word than better. Like, we all do stuff different. So I mean, what works for one artist doesn't work for another one. What engineer works for one artist doesn't work for another one. So
Ooh, man.
yeah,
I mean, because finding the right engineer is like it's finding the right outfit sometimes. It
yeah,
just doesn't.
and I never, like, if somebody records with me, and they decide that another engineer at another studio is what works for them better, never salty about it,
Right.
because I want the artist to have make the best art.
Because that's the end goal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, make the best art. Like,
But that's
period.
because you're from that cloth in a sense, like you care about the music, you care,
Yeah,
and that's why the studio is the way it is, right?
yeah,
Okay, and that's number one. That's what you guys are going to experience when you walk in, is the energy in a space built off of someone who cares about what the music sounds like and how it comes out. So you can't really argue with that.
yeah.
Um, this is a question that is just for me, but I think we're going to learn something here. And it's completely up to you. You may not even want to share this. Is mechanical licensing still a thing when it comes to like studios and recording? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
You mean like getting a percentage?
Yeah. Yeah. Does that
It depends. So I only take percentage on stuff generally that I'm producing.
okay.
So I do work with some artists that, if we're working closely on a record and I'm engineering, then we will work out some kind of licensing.
Okay.
But that I don't ever press like a client if I'm just engineering. Like, they bring in their own music, they bring in their own, they've written the song. Just help us get the vision into the computer, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not pressing for anything like that ever, but I also leave that open to producers to that's between the producers and the artists. You know what I
Got you.
mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That you're like, hey, look, I handle my shit. We're
Exactly.
good.
Exactly.
Because and I don't want to devalue the studio environment, right? But
Yeah.
in my head, when I think of how the engineer and the producer works, it's sometimes similar to how I look at a barbershop,
Yeah.
where you're sort of renting the booth or the space. Is that how that works? Like for you, are you working with other engineers? Or do they have to sort of sign on to the team? Are they able to freelance? How does that work?
Yeah, so we operate with engineers, like, via they freelance. So
Okay.
yeah, so they're booking what they're booking, and they're coming in their engineering, and that's how they're operating. But also, what we're building with our freelancers is a community or a team.
Okay.
So we're sharing knowledge, we're sharing resources, we're sharing, support for one another as well at
So
the
the
same
idea is
time.
that you have a freelance free agent contract, but you're working towards a goal
Right.
with the team.
Right.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
a loose
like,
team of bandits.
sort of it's
Okay,
like a bunch of mercenaries that team up to be the best, to be the Avengers, you know what I'm
there it
saying? Yeah.
is, mercenaries. I love
Yeah.
that one. That actually that was fucking dope. That's a good. That was a soundbite, y'all. Look, the producer's giving you bars. All right, ooh, we gotta pay some bills here real quick. These questions come from our sponsors. Number one question comes from our sponsor, Thrax Pastry. There's nothing for sale here, just a suggestion of where you could spend some time. My question with this is the apology dish. And I don't know if this one's even changed for you because I remember asking you this one about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, let's say your wife, ooh, this is a good one because he is freshly married, y'all.
Yeah.
Let's say your wife pisses you off.
Yeah.
Says all the right things though. What's that dish she can make that just saves a day?
Mm. I think last time I spoke to you, we had this question. I said breakfast, but now I said I am eating breakfast like whenever.
Right, right.
I would say, last night, this is funny. Maybe she was a little annoyed at something, but I made some pasta for her, and pasta is always going to work every single
Is a
time.
winner. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Pasta's the winner. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Okay, so now this question comes from Pigwitch. This is off menu items available, specials any day. You just walk right up and order it. My question to you though, if you know that a place has an off menu item, what
Hmm.
is Code Red's way of asking for that item?
You gotta ask them, you gotta be like, do you guys still have that? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
and then they'll be like, no, we don't have it anymore. Be like, but you do you know how to make it? You know what I mean? And then that usually,
he walked.
yeah,
I like that one.
yeah,
That was good. That was good. Okay. Ooh, what are your thoughts? And in some ways, it probably doesn't affect you, but I'm curious though. What are your thoughts on streaming? Spotify has been in the news a lot lately. There's a lot of swirl and scuttlebutt, right? So, what is Code Red's take on streaming right now?
yeah. So I think I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. It's like I see more of like, and what I want to see
Okay.
is artists moving back towards more like selling. I don't know if it's got to be physical copies, but either something where people are investing directly into a copy of what you're doing, right? So
Okay.
whether it be like they pay for a link to the digital or
Something. A
right,
USB,
right,
something.
something more of the artist direct to consumer instead of having to go through the streaming because the streaming's not
Uh,
working for anybody.
right. It's like,
Like
does it do you any good?
no, like
I mean,
I mean, I wish I could say, and we will say one day for sure that some of the artists I'm working with right now are making enough money off streaming to actually, support people.
right.
But that's just not realistic right now. You
It's
know what
yeah,
I mean?
okay. Because of the
But
setup, the mathematics is not there.
right, but if you have, I mean, if you can sell 100 people your CD for $10 and you just made $1,000, like that just paid for probably all your investment into that.
Easily.
Yeah,
Easily.
right. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Sounds like good math to me, y'all.
yeah.
He's learned a few things owning a business. No, I'm
But
playing.
artist direct to consumer, that's what I think streaming is needs to move more like even biz or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any do you plan on having any pool tables or video games?
The PS5 is in studio way, bro. It's ready
Oh
to go.
shit, it's
It's,
ready.
it's ready to go. I
Challengers
got
step up.
we got the TV and the 5 in studio A
Look,
ready to go.
look, he was ready for that question. He was ready.
Let's go.
All right, man. So, shit, hold on. Who are some I guess the way I want to ask this is as a producer, as an engineer, you had some folks that were inspirations or mentors to you.
Yeah.
Now that you've moved into the next phase of things,
Yeah.
are you looking at other people as mentors or inspirations, or is it still some of the same people that inspired you initially?
Well, for my mentors and like where I'm learning right now, a lot of it is like online communities and platforms that, put out content with like the
Mm,
highest level engineers that, give you game.
yeah,
So that's where a lot of my mentorship is coming right now.
you just eating it up, reading
Reading,
and
watching videos, yeah,
yeah.
man.
Oh shit. Okay.
But like I like to also like give game to people and teach, tidbits and little secrets here and there to others, and I feel like that helps fortify your knowledge as well. You know what I mean?
Oh
Think about things in a different
yeah.
light sometimes.
Learning it and then
Right.
being able to apply it and, and,
Right.
and teach it.
Yeah.
So, are we gonna have Code Red classes coming soon? What?
Nothing planned, but I do love sharing knowledge and I do love teaching. So I mean, nothing planned, but never say
You
never.
never know. Well, sounds like if you guys come down to the studio, you're gonna learn something anyway in the
Facts.
process.
Yeah,
I love it.
I never gatekeep. I never hide what I'm going on. Like I'm here to share the knowledge because I want the music scene to be better.
Mhm.
And so if all the engineers are better, then all the music will be better. So
And that's what I was. That's what I was giving you flowers for, bro. Because
yeah,
that's the energy that we need. You
yeah,
know, we don't need gatekeepers, but we do need someone to say stop that because
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay. Ooh, here's something I gotta ask, and I appreciate you. We gotta wrap this up here soon. Why KC? And what I mean by that, everyone else is kind of always looking to go somewhere else,
Yeah.
but you've decided to not only be here but to stake your claim here.
Yeah.
So why KC?
So when I was doing like a lot of live sound, like for years and years, like before the pandemic, I would travel so much, be gone for weeks and weeks at a time.
Mm,
And so I always felt like that wasn't serving like me creatively at all, first of all.
okay.
You know what I mean? So that I feel like there is some creativity in live sound, but for me, my experience was more like it was work, just work.
Mm,
And so like I wanted something that would just help nurture my creative itch. And so like being located in one place did that for me.
you can focus
And
and
then so I think like a couple years ago, I was talking to my wife, I think, and I was like, what I want for me is to make an impact on the music here because yeah. So I made a conscious decision like to
right,
do it in Kansas City. Like obviously I've been living here for years and
right.
whatnot, but in terms of like, should I go to LA to try to be an engineer? Should I go to New York to try to be an engineer? Like, no, I want to do something here.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. We need that. We have a lot of engineers here. We have a lot of producers. We have a lot
Yeah.
of music makers and shakers. But the fact that we have someone who says, "No, I'm gonna do that and do it here."
Yeah.
We appreciate that. So yeah, thank God we have Code Red Production Studios up now,
Thank God.
man.
Yeah.
Big Boy Studio up. Studio B is up. The Freestyle Room. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What does success look like for you in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I want to see Code Red Productions really become like a hub for like the music that we're recognizing as the best music in Kansas City. I want it to be associated with Code Red Productions,
Ooh,
and I want Code Red Productions to like have set a new standard for the city of in terms of like it's what you're saying is I'm not I'm not saying like don't do that, but I'm saying like this is what it should be.
right. But
So
you've already set a standard. You know that, right?
yeah,
You know, like
but
your
like
projects
but with like the expansion of the studio, I want to expand that reach. You know
even
what I
more.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. I mean, which, I mean, in some ways, the reach is outside the city because everyone should know Code Red. I hope. I mean, most of your favorite artists have probably gotten production from Code Red. There's a good chance of that. I feel like I don't know, but I mean, that's my job. So,
I always want to do more though. Holla at me.
but so, all right. This is the one question I ask everybody on the way out.
Hmm.
I just gotta know from your perspective. When it's all said and done, when the session is done and they're leaving out of Code Red Production Studios, what do you want the artists or any of the clients to walk away feeling?
Uh, Complete confidence
Mm,
in what we just did. That it is speaking to their artistic vision.
mm,
It's speaking to them in terms of it stands up to the other music that they listen to
okay.
sonically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just complete confidence in not only me but their music itself. You know what I mean? So if they drop, there's no worries about anything from production and engineering. That is the worry for them.
He said, "You ain't coming back to him on that shit. It's a wrap." I love it. I love it. Hey man, this has been a hell of a conversation. Bump Jonas here, and I just had a hell of a sit down with none other than.
Go red.
Make sure you guys tap in Code Red Production Studios. It's been open, more to come. Tap the hell in. I guess I could say click the link in the bio, but really just go DM and set your schedule. Just book your session.
Hit me up.
You know
Let's
what I'm
get
saying?
it.
Now with that, as I always say, love yourself like you try to love the world. Do something to earn your place in the world this week. Just be a dope motherfucker. Y'all have a good one. Peace.